If you want to live a stronger, more focused life, it starts by taking control of your mind. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. This is about stepping up and making real changes that you can feel in your body, in your thoughts, and in the way you show up every single day. This isn't a quick fix or some motivational speech that fades after 5 minutes. This is about building the kind of mindset that makes you disciplined, confident, and tough enough to handle anything life throws at you. In this guide, you're going to learn how to develop a warrior mindset, step by step, not in theory, not in complicated ideas. Straightforward, clear actions that you can start using today. You're going to see how daily habits shape who you become. You'll learn how to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. You'll understand why discipline beats motivation every single time. And you'll get practical strategies that actually work, not just to feel pumped up in the moment, but to stay committed long term. This isn't about trying to be perfect. It's about becoming stronger. It's about learning how to push through when things get uncomfortable. It's about developing a clear purpose that drives you, even when no one's watching. And if you stick around, you're going to get tools that will help you stay focused, take control of your time, and build a life that you're proud of. By the end of this, you'll know how to lead yourself like a true warrior. Not because you've memorized a list of rules, but because you've practiced the discipline to show up and do the work. If you're ready to stop making excuses and start making real changes, stay with me. This is where it all begins. Chapter 1. The Inner Battlefield. Know yourself first. The hardest battles you will ever fight aren't the ones out there in the world. They aren't against the people who doubted you or the obstacles that tried to break you. The hardest battles, the ones that define your future, are the ones you fight silently within yourself every single day. And if you win those, nothing out there can stop you. Not now, not ever. Let me tell you the truth. If you want to develop a warrior mindset, if you want to stand unshaken when life throws its hardest punches, you have to be willing to look yourself in the mirror and face the real opponent. You. That's where this journey begins. It's not out there on the battlefield. It's not in the weight room, or in front of an audience, or in the arena where people cheer your name. It starts in the quiet moments. The ones where no one's watching. The ones where it's just you and your thoughts. The moments where you decide, do I move forward, or do I stay the same? You have to understand something. The greatest warriors in history weren't just physically strong. They weren't just disciplined with their swords or sharp with their strategy. They were masters of themselves. They understood what drove them. They knew their weaknesses as intimately as their strengths. And because they knew who they were, no enemy could use their flaws against them. That's the kind of inner mastery you need to develop if you're going to conquer your life. But here's the thing. Most people won't tell you knowing yourself isn't easy. It's not a motivational quote on a wall. It's not a quick exercise you do once and move on. It's work. Deep, uncomfortable work, and most people avoid it. They distract themselves. They scroll their phones, chase validation, stay busy, anything to avoid sitting alone with their thoughts. But that's where your power lives. In the space where you face yourself completely, no filters, no lies. When you step onto the inner battlefield, the first rule is brutal honesty. Not the kind of honesty where you say, yeah, I have a few flaws and move on. I'm talking about radical self-examination, the kind of honesty that makes you uncomfortable because it reveals where you've been hiding, where you've been playing small. That's where you have to go. You need to ask yourself questions that dig deep. Where am I undisciplined? Where am I lying to myself about the effort I'm putting in? What patterns am I stuck in that keep me in the same place? You have to become a student of your own mind. Watch how you react when things don't go your way. Pay attention to the excuses you make when life gets uncomfortable. Notice how you justify skipping the hard things, how you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, how you allow fear to make your decisions without even realizing it. That's the inner war. And if you want to win out there, you have to win here first. This is where a lot of people quit. They don't like what they see when they look inside. They see laziness, anger, doubt, weakness. But here's what separates the warrior from the average person. The warrior doesn't turn away. The warrior doesn't pretend those flaws aren't there. He acknowledges them. And then, he uses them. You have to understand, there's nothing wrong with having flaws, anger, fear, laziness. They all have energy, and energy can be redirected. A warrior takes the emotion that could destroy him and forges it into something that fuels him. Anger becomes drive, fear becomes focus, laziness becomes a signal to rest and then return stronger. You don't have to destroy these parts of you, you have to command them. When you start to know yourself at this level, you stop being predictable. You stop getting caught off guard. You know your triggers. You know what situations test your patience. You know when you're likely to give up. And because you know you can prepare, a warrior doesn't leave his defense to chance. He builds strategies before the battle even begins. He trains his mind to anticipate the strike and block it before it lands. Let me make this real. Imagine you always skip your morning routine when you stay up late watching shows or scrolling on your phone. You've told yourself it's no big deal. You'll get back on track tomorrow. But what happens? Tomorrow turns into a week, then a month. That's a pattern. And if you don't take control of that pattern, it controls you. Now imagine you see that clearly. You recognize the trigger, the late-night distractions. You make a rule, no phone after 9 p.m. You prepare. You turn off notifications. You put the phone in another room. You create a battle plan. And when the moment comes where you feel tempted, you're ready. That's how warriors think. Anticipate, prepare, execute. But it's not just about controlling triggers. It's about deciding who you want to become. Not vaguely. Not I want to be better. That's not enough. You need to carve out your identity like a sculptor chiseling stone. Who do you want to be when things get hard? What kind of person do you want to be when the world's falling apart? How do you want people to remember you when you're gone? You have to answer those questions. And you have to write it down. Every single word, because clarity creates power. When you define the warrior you are becoming, you have something to live up to. It's not about perfection. It's about direction. You wake up every day and aim at that target. Some days you'll miss. That's fine. The point is you keep aiming. You keep sharpening your mind, your habits, your character. Over time you become the person you wrote about. Now here's the final piece. Ownership. Full, ruthless, unapologetic ownership. This is where you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people blame. They blame their parents. They blame their past. They blame society, bad luck, other people's actions, but blame is a chain. It keeps you stuck. Warriors don't waste energy blaming anyone. They look at every situation and ask, what can I control? Because if you can control something, you can change it. And if you can change it, you're unstoppable. Imagine living that way. Imagine taking ownership of your time, your energy, your choices. Imagine never waiting on anyone else to save you because you already know you've got everything you need inside you. That's freedom. That's strength. And that's what the warrior mindset gives you. This isn't theory. This is daily practice. It's how you talk to yourself when you want to quit. It's how you show up when no one's clapping. It's how you carry yourself when you're tired, when you're doubting, when you're unsure. You show up. You stay disciplined. You stay true to yourself. And over time that builds something unbreakable inside you. So here's what I'm telling you. The inner battlefield is where it all begins. And once you learn how to fight and win here, you can take on anything out there. This isn't easy. But if you wanted easy, you wouldn't be here. You're here because something inside you knows you're built for more. You're here because you're ready to fight for it. So stand up, look yourself in the eye, and step onto the battlefield. You've got this. And I'll be right here with you on this journey, every step of the way. Chapter 2. The Warrior's Why. Find your purpose. When you wake up in the morning and your feet hit the ground, there should be something inside you that pulls you forward before the world even has a chance to push back. A fire that lights up before the sun does. A reason that makes you move when your body aches, when your mind is tired, when everything in you screams to stop. That's your why. And when you have a why that runs deep enough, when you've planted it like a flag in the middle of your soul, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you've decided that nothing, absolutely nothing, can make you quit. I'm not talking about a motivational poster on your wall. I'm not talking about some cute quote you saw online that felt good for a second and then faded away. I'm talking about something real, something personal, a reason to fight that gets into your blood and your bones and keeps you moving forward no matter what life throws at you. If you want to develop a warrior mindset, if you want to live with the kind of discipline and focus most people only dream about, this is where it starts. You have to find your why, and not just find it, but live by it, breathe by it, make every decision in its shadow. Because the truth is, life will test you, it will push you to the edge, it will drag you through the dirt. And when it does, motivation won't be enough. Discipline matters. Yes, consistency matters. But when the pain hits a level you didn't even think was possible, when the world feels like it's falling down on top of you, discipline is only part of the equation. What makes you stand back up when you can't even see straight is your why. That deeper reason. The mission you gave yourself that you refuse to surrender. And if you don't know what that is, if you're not clear on why you're getting up early, why you're sacrificing comfort, why you're pushing through the pain, eventually you'll stop. You'll slow down. You'll look for an easier path. Because your brain is wired for survival, not greatness. It's always going to search for a way out. That's why your why has to be so powerful, so real, that it shuts that voice down before it even gets a word out. Now listen carefully. This isn't about doing what everyone else is doing. Your why isn't supposed to look like anyone else's. It's not about chasing money because somebody told you that's what success looks like. It's not about proving people wrong just to get revenge. Those things, they burn out fast, they're shallow fuel, and when things get hard, they evaporate. You need something deeper, something that's tied to who you really are. Something that makes you stand up straighter, breathe deeper, and lock in when everyone else would fold. And sometimes you've got to dig to find it. Maybe you've never been taught how to look for it. Maybe you've spent your life chasing what you thought you were supposed to chase. You did what they told you. Get the job. Get the job. Get the car. Post the picture. Smile when you're dying inside. But at some point you realized something was missing. That empty feeling in your chest, even when everything looks good on paper. That's the signal. That's life, tapping you on the shoulder, telling you it's time to find something real. So how do you find it? You've got to strip it all back. Quiet the noise. Get rid of everyone else's opinions and start listening to yourself. Ask the hard questions. Who do I want to become? What kind of life do I want to live? Not just in 5 years, but right now. What am I willing to suffer for? Because if you're not willing to suffer for it, it's not your why. It's a wish. It's a fantasy. Warriors don't fight for fantasies. They fight for something they believe in so deeply that they're willing to bleed for it. For some people, their why is their family. They want to be the rock their kids can depend on, the leader their family never had. For others, it's about proving to themselves they're not the broken person they used to be. It's not about revenge. It's about redemption. It's about showing yourself that you can become the kind of person you once thought was impossible. Maybe it's about making an impact on the world. Maybe it's about mastering your craft. I don't know what it is for you, but I do know this. You won't find it sitting around waiting for inspiration. You've got to go looking for it. You've got to sit with yourself, without distractions, without excuses, and figure out what makes your heart beat a little faster. And when you find it, you protect it. You guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. This isn't just about success. This is about survival. Emotional survival. Mental survival. A life without purpose is like a ship without a compass. It drifts. It crashes. And it eventually sinks. But a life with purpose, it can weather any storm. It can take hit after hit and keep moving forward because it knows where it's going. And it knows why it's going there. When you know your why, you stop wasting time. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. You stop letting distractions pull you off course. Your focus sharpens. Your discipline deepens. You start building your life around your mission, not your mood, because moods are temporary. Missions are forever. And this isn't just theory. Look at every person who's ever accomplished something great. Every warrior, every leader, every game changer. They all had a why, something bigger than themselves. That's what kept them going when it got ugly. When they were tired, broke, doubted, hated, they didn't stop because they weren't doing it for applause. They were doing it because they had a purpose. And the mission was always bigger than the pain. You can have that too. You can be that kind of person. But you've got to commit to it. You've got to make the decision right now that you're done living without a mission, that you're done chasing things that don't matter, that you're done quitting on yourself. And then you've got to back it up with action. Every day, not just when it's convenient. Every single day, you remind yourself of your why. You write it down. You say it out loud. You make decisions based on it. You protect it from anything and anyone that tries to distract you. Because here's the truth. If you don't build your life around your why, you'll end up living someone else's life. You'll end up chasing someone else's dream. And when it all falls apart, you'll wonder how you got there. Don't let that happen. Don't leave your life to chance. Don't drift. Lead. Decide. Fight. And keep fighting. The warrior mindset isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about waking up every day with purpose. It's about living with fire in your heart and discipline in your actions. And it all starts with knowing why you're fighting in the first place. So I'll leave you with this. Find your why. Make it personal. Make it powerful. Make it yours. And then burn the boats. No turning back. No retreat. Just forward. You're not here to survive. You're here to conquer. And your why is the key to making that happen. Keep moving. Keep fighting. Keep rising. You've got this. And I'll be right here with you every step of the way. Chapter 3. Building an unshakable code. Your core values. When a person walks through life without a code, they are like a ship lost at sea, drifting wherever the current takes them. They react to life instead of leading it. They get pulled into situations they never intended to be in, wasting time, energy, and potential. And eventually, they look back and wonder why they never became who they were meant to be. But when you build an unshakable code to live by, when you decide your rules, your standards, your values, everything changes. You stop drifting and start driving. You stop reacting and start leading. And that's where a warrior separates himself from everyone else. He isn't guided by luck. He isn't guided by emotion. He's guided by a code that doesn't change when life gets hard. A code that defines who he is, no matter where he is or what he's up against. If you want to develop the mindset of a warrior, you can't just show up with strength. You need structure. You need something inside you that cannot be broken, even if your body is. That's the code. And every warrior who's ever stood through the storms of life with his head high and his heart strong had a code like steel running through him. It's not about being perfect. It's about being principled. It's about knowing where you stand, so when the pressure's on, you don't fold. You don't compromise. You don't betray yourself for the sake of comfort. You stand on something solid, something you chose, something that defines you, even when the world around you is falling apart. Your code isn't about following rules somebody else wrote. It's not about living by someone else's standards. It's about writing your own. That's the difference between a follower and a leader, between an ordinary life and a life of honor. A warrior lives by a personal code because he knows that the world is full of noise. It's full of people who will tell you how to live, what to think, who to be. But if you don't define that for yourself, you'll end up living someone else's life. And there's no pride in that. No peace either. A man with a code sleeps well at night because he knows he stayed true to himself, even if nobody noticed. Building your code isn't a one-time thing. It's not something you scribble down and forget about. It's something you live and breathe every single day. It's in the decisions you make when no one's watching. It's in how you speak when it would be easier to stay silent. It's in how you treat people who can't do anything for you. Your code is revealed in the smallest moments, and those small moments are what shape your life. But here's where it gets real. Most people think values are something soft. They think they're ideals you put in a nice frame and hang on a wall. That's not a warrior's way. For a warrior, values are war. They are discipline. They are the reason he gets up early, trains when he's tired, tells the truth when it costs him. They are his fuel, and if you don't have that fuel, you're going to burn out. You might run hard for a while. You might push yourself through pure willpower, but when you're exhausted, when life breaks you down, when you're standing in the dark wondering what the point is, the only thing that will keep you going is your code. It's your anchor. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who stand tall through life's storms, the ones who don't just talk about strength, they live it. I guarantee you, they have a personal code. They have values they don't compromise, no matter the pressure. They've already made the hard decisions in advance because they know who they are. They know what they stand for, and they refuse to live below that standard. This isn't about being rigid for the sake of pride. This is about giving yourself something stronger than your feelings on a bad day. Emotions will pull you in 1,000 directions, but a A code keeps you steady. You can be angry, but you don't break your code. You can be tired, but you don't break your code. You can be tempted, but you don't break your code. That's power. That's strength that can't be faked. Now ask yourself, what are your values? What principles guide your life? If you had to strip away everything else, your job, your money, your titles, what remains? What do you stand for when no one's clapping, no one's cheering, and no one's watching? If you don't know, it's time to get clear. Warriors don't guess who they are. They decide. Maybe your code is built on integrity, that you always tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's discipline, that you do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Maybe it's loyalty, that you protect your family, your team, the people who trust you, no matter the cost. Whatever it is, make it yours. Don't copy someone else's life. Write your own law, and once you do, live it so consistently that people know who you are without you having to say a word. People talk about respect like it's something you can demand, but real respect, the kind that lasts, is earned. And it's earned by how you live, not by your words, by your actions. You want to be respected. Live by your code, every single day. Especially when it's hard, especially when no one is looking. That's when it counts. And understand this, your code is going to be tested. Life will put you in situations where it would be easier to bend, to cut corners, to walk away from your own standards because it's convenient. And that's when you find out who you really are. That's when your code either holds or it doesn't. And if you've built it strong enough, you won't even hesitate. You'll do what's right, not what's easy. That's the warrior's way. But don't wait for life to test you to find out if your code is real. Test yourself every day. Look for the hard path. Look for the uncomfortable choice. Push yourself to live your values, even in the smallest decisions, because those small decisions, they add up. They build the muscle of character. And when the big tests come, you'll be ready. You'll already be the person who lives by a code, not someone trying to fake it in the moment. One thing I've learned about life: people can sense who's real and who's not. You don't have to announce your values. If you live them, they'll show up in your energy, in how you carry yourself, in how you speak. And that energy draws the right people to you. Other warriors, other people who live by principle, and together that kind of tribe is unbreakable. But it all starts with you, alone, in the quiet, writing your code, deciding who you are, and then living it until it's part of your DNA, until it's not something you try to remember. It's just who you are. So if you're listening to this right now, I want you to make a decision. Today, not tomorrow. Today, decide what you stand for. Decide your non-negotiables. Decide your rules of life. And then commit to them like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. The quality of your life is determined by the standards you refuse to compromise. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. About building something inside yourself that can't be bought, can't be faked, and can't be taken away. That's the unshakable code. That's the warrior's way. And if you live it long enough, hard enough, true enough, you'll become the kind of person who doesn't just survive life's battles, but wins them, over and over again. So stand tall, set your standards high, and live by them. Every single day. No matter what, you do that, and you'll build a life you can be proud of. You'll become someone you can respect. And that's where real strength begins. Keep going, keep fighting, and never break your code. Chapter 4. Discipline over motivation. Mastering consistency. The difference between those who talk about winning and those who actually win always comes down to one thing. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not about having the right connections or waiting for the perfect time. It's discipline. Raw, unshakable, unwavering discipline. The kind of discipline that wakes you up when you're exhausted. The kind that makes you move forward when everything in you wants to stop. The kind that isn't driven by emotion or mood or convenience, but by choice. And the truth is, if you want to live like a warrior, if you want to create something with your life that you can look back on with pride, you need to master the art of discipline over motivation. Because motivation, as powerful as it feels in the moment, is a liar. It shows up when things are easy, when you're feeling good, when the sun is shining and the music is loud and you feel unstoppable. But the moment things get hard, the moment the grind sets in, the pain kicks up, the setbacks come, motivation disappears like it was never there to begin with. And if you've built your life on waiting to feel motivated, you'll lose every time. You'll quit every time, and you'll never become what you're capable of becoming. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the right mood or the right song or the right weather. Discipline is doing what needs to be done because you made a promise to yourself, and warriors keep their promises. Discipline is about doing the work because that's who you are. It's a standard you refuse to lower, no matter how you feel on any given day. That's what separates the elite from everyone else. That's why warriors build lives other people only dream about, because they do the work whether they want to or not. And I'm telling you right now, if you can make this shift in your life, if you can let go of chasing motivation and start mastering discipline, your entire life will change. You won't just do things when they're easy, you'll become unstoppable. Because discipline doesn't depend on external factors. It comes from inside. You control it. And anything you control, you can build, strengthen, and use to move your life forward in ways you can't even imagine right now. You want to know the truth about success. The truth about building something meaningful with your life. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's not flashy. It's not exciting most of the time. It's the same actions over and over and over, long after the mood to do them has left. It's waking up early even when you don't feel like it. It's training your body when you're tired. It's showing up on time when no one's holding you accountable. It's eating clean when junk food is screaming your name. It's studying when you could be scrolling. It's saying no to things that distract you, over and over and over. That's the grind. And the grind is where discipline lives. That's where warriors are made. And you know what happens when you live that way. You start to trust yourself in a way you never have before. You stop second-guessing. You stop making excuses. You stop negotiating with your own weakness. You start becoming someone who does what they say they're going to do. And when you trust yourself like that, you become dangerous, in the best possible way. You become someone people can count on, someone they respect. But most importantly, you become someone you can respect. The truth is, we all have two choices every single day. Do we act on our feelings, or do we act on our values? Feelings are temporary. Feelings are unpredictable. Feelings are liars, but values are permanent. Values are the foundation of discipline. You act because it's in your code. You move because you said you would. You show up because it's who you are, not because you feel like it. Warriors live by values, not by feelings. Now here's what you need to understand. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's not genetic. It's a skill. You build it like you build muscle. One rep at a time, one small choice at a time. You don't wait until you're ready. You start. You do the small things consistently, and over time they become who you are. You don't need to run a marathon on day one. You need to get up and take the first step. Do one push-up. Read one page. Wake up 5 minutes earlier, and then do it again tomorrow, and again the next day. And before you know it, you're living a life of discipline. You're making decisions most people won't. And because of that, you're creating results most people never will. But you've got to be real with yourself. Discipline will test you. It will break you down. You'll be tempted to quit. You'll be tempted to cut corners, to justify missing a day, to tell yourself you'll get back on track tomorrow. But tomorrow isn't promised. All you have is today. All you have is right now. And if you don't control right now, tomorrow doesn't matter. Discipline is about owning the present moment. It's about doing the work now, so your future self doesn't have to suffer because you were weak today. And when you embrace discipline, something else happens. You get freedom. Not the fake kind of freedom where you do whatever you want in the moment and pay the price later. Real freedom. The freedom that comes from knowing you're in control of your life. The freedom of knowing you're not a slave to your impulses. The freedom of knowing you can rely on yourself no matter what. That's what discipline gives you. It's not a prison. It's power. It's pride. It's purpose. So if you're tired of starting and stopping, if you're tired of breaking promises to yourself, if you're tired of feeling like you're stuck in the same place year after year, make the decision right now to stop relying on motivation. Motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that keeps you going. And when you have discipline, you don't need hype. You don't need external validation. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You just move. You just work. And you keep moving and working until you've built a life that reflects the strength you've built inside. And the best part, discipline compounds. Every time you make the right choice, every time you follow through, you're building momentum. You're stacking wins. You're creating a track record that proves you are who you say you are. And the more you stack those wins, the easier it gets to keep going. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. You get tougher. You get sharper. And before you know it, you've become the kind of person who does hard things, not because they're hard, but because they're necessary. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. Choose one thing that you've been putting off. One thing that you know you need to do to move your life forward, and do it. Today. Even if it's small. Especially if it's small. Because small wins lead to big wins. Small actions lead to massive change. And the sooner you start stacking those wins, the sooner you become unstoppable. And when you feel like quitting, when you feel like it's too hard, remember why you started. Remember who you're fighting for. Remember that the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pride of discipline lasts a lifetime. You'll never regret doing the work. You'll only regret not doing it sooner. Discipline isn't just a habit. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's a promise you make to yourself every day, and then keep. And when you live that way, when you embody that warrior's discipline, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that can hold you back. So stand up, get to work, and don't stop until the work is done. Discipline over motivation. Every time. That's how warriors live. That's how warriors win. And that's how you're going to win too. Keep pushing, keep fighting, and never ever quit. Chapter 5. Train like a warrior, physical discipline. Every warrior that's ever walked the earth understood one simple truth. If you want to be strong in life, if you want to be unbreakable when the storms come, you can't just train your mind. You can't just sharpen your spirit. You have to forge your body into something that can carry you through the fight. You have to move like a warrior, train like a warrior, and treat your body like the machine it was built to be. Because this body you're in right now, this is your first and last weapon, and if you don't take care of it, if you don't push it to its edge, if you don't respect it by putting in the work, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. It doesn't matter what you want in life, whether it's to lead your family, dominate in business, or push your personal limits. The foundation of it all starts with how you take care of yourself, how you move, how you train, how you challenge the physical version of you. If your body isn't strong, your mind suffers, your energy crashes, your ability to lead, to stand tall, to fight for what matters, weakens, and you can lie to yourself for a while. You can tell yourself it's fine to sit back, to rest, to take it easy, because you're busy, you're tired, you've earned a break. But deep down, you know the truth. Deep down, you know when you're living below your potential. You know when you're hiding from the work. And you feel it every time you look in the mirror. So if you're going to walk this path, if you're going to become something more than you are right now, you have to train like a warrior. No shortcuts, no hacks, no fads, just raw, disciplined work. Because when you treat your body like a weapon, and you put in the time to sharpen it, something changes in you. You don't just look stronger, you feel it. You move differently. You carry yourself with a level of confidence that can't be faked because you earned it. Every drop of sweat, every heavy breath, every early morning when you got out of bed before the world woke up, it all adds up to something real, something unshakable. And I'm not talking about training to look good on social media. This isn't about abs or perfect lighting or flexing for approval. This is about being able to go the distance in life. This is about knowing that if life knocks you down, you can get back up fast. That you can carry the weight of responsibility without breaking. That when the people you love need you, you're ready. That's why we train. That's why we build our bodies. Not for vanity, for vitality, for readiness, for war. You have to think of your body like a machine. A powerful, precise, high-performance machine. And what do machines need to function at their highest level? Consistent maintenance, fuel, calibration. You can't expect to run at full capacity if you're not taking care of the engine. You wouldn't let your car go without oil changes, without fuel, without regular upkeep, and then expect it to perform in a race. So why do we do that with our own bodies? Why do we neglect the basics and then act surprised when we feel weak, tired, and unmotivated? You're not tired because you're doing too much. You're tired because you're not doing enough of the right things to build energy and strength from the inside out. And it all starts with movement. Daily, consistent movement. It doesn't matter if you're lifting weights, running hills, climbing ropes, or hitting the heavy bag. What matters is that you move with purpose every single day. You push yourself beyond what's comfortable. You train like someone who has something to prove. Because you do. You have something to prove to yourself that you're not going to settle. That you're not going to live a soft life. That you're going to do what it takes to become the kind of person who can endure the hard things, because life is hard, and you need to be harder. And let me tell you something else. When you train your body, you don't just get stronger physically. Your mind changes. You start building mental toughness without even realizing it. Every time you finish a workout when your body was screaming to quit, you've reinforced discipline in your mind. Every time you choose to show up instead of making excuses, you're teaching yourself that your word means something, that you are reliable, that you can trust yourself to do what you said you would do. That's the real power of physical discipline. It carries over into everything else. You'll notice it in the small things first. You'll stop hitting snooze in the morning because you're already used to doing the hard thing. You'll stop reaching for comfort food because you understand what your body really needs. You'll walk into a room with your head higher because you know you're capable. And then you'll notice it in the bigger things. You'll be calmer under pressure. You'll be clearer when making decisions. You'll have more energy to pour into your work, your family, your life. It all starts with how you treat your body. You can't separate the two. And I don't care what your starting point is. You could be out of shape. You could be overweight. You could be tired, stressed, burned out. It doesn't matter, because what matters is that you start right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when things calm down. You start with what you have where you are. If all you can do is 10 push-ups, do 10 push-ups. If all you can do is walk around the block, walk around the block. But show up every day. And as you show up, as you push the limits of what you thought you could do, your capacity expands. Your body gets stronger. Your stamina increases. And so does your belief in yourself. And yeah, it's going to hurt sometimes. You're going to be sore. You're going to be tired. There will be days when the last thing you want to do is train. But that's the moment you have to lean in. That's the moment that builds champions. The days you train when you don't feel like it are the days that separate you from the crowd. That's where the edge is. That's where the power is. Not in the easy days. In the hard ones. And when you stack enough of those hard days on top of each other, you wake up one day and realize you've become someone entirely different. Someone stronger. Someone more dangerous. Someone who can handle whatever life throws your way. The body is the gateway to everything else. You can't expect to be mentally sharp, emotionally stable, and spiritually grounded if your body is falling apart. If you're feeding yourself garbage. If you're sitting on the couch night after night wasting your life away. That's not the warrior way. That's not how you get strong. You get strong by honoring your body with movement, with fuel, with rest, and with discipline. And don't let anybody tell you it's selfish to take time to train. It's the opposite. When you take care of yourself, you're in a better position to take care of the people you love. You're stronger for them. You have more energy for them. You set a higher standard for them. Warriors lead by example. And if you want the people around you to rise, you have to rise first. So if you're listening to this, and you know you've been slacking, you know you've been cutting corners, you know you've been waiting for the perfect time, this is your wake-up call. The perfect time is right now. This is the moment you decide you're done living small. You're done being weak. You're done letting your body hold you back. From this day forward, you train like a warrior. You treat your body like the powerful weapon it was meant to be. And you do the work every single day, no matter how you feel. Because that's what warriors do. We show up, we train hard, we fight harder, and we never back down from the challenge. Not in the gym, not in life. Now get out there and put in the work. Your future self is waiting for you on the other side of the pain. And when you get there, you'll know it was worth every single rep, every single drop of sweat, every single sacrifice. That's the price of strength. And you're ready to pay it. Let's go. Chapter 6. Mental Toughness Training. Strengthening the Mind. Strength isn't just about how much weight you can lift or how fast you can run. It's about what happens when everything gets heavy in your mind, when the weight isn't just physical, but emotional, mental, even spiritual. And if you can't hold the line in your own head, it doesn't matter how strong your body is, you'll break. Every battle you'll ever fight begins and ends inside your own mind. That's where mental toughness lives. That's where it's built. And the ones who win in life, the ones who rise when everyone else folds, are the ones who have trained their minds to be as sharp and resilient as steel. The truth is, life will not give you a smooth ride. It's going to push you, test you, wear you down. And if you don't have mental toughness, you're going to be at the mercy of every bad day, every setback, every critic, every doubt that creeps into your head when things get hard. But when you make a decision to master your mind, you take that power back. You become the one in control. You decide how you think, how you react, how you move. And that's where freedom is. Not in avoiding the hard things, but in knowing you can handle them, in knowing that no matter how heavy life gets, you can carry it, and you can keep moving forward. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's not a gift that only a few people have. It's a skill. It's a choice. It's built one decision at a time, one difficult moment at a time, one day at a time. And it starts with understanding that your mind is a muscle. And like any muscle, if you don't train it, it gets weak. If you don't challenge it, it gets lazy. And if you don't push it, it doesn't grow. So the question isn't whether you have mental toughness or not. The question is whether you're willing to do the work to build it. And it's not glamorous work. It's not something you can post on social media and get applause for. It's quiet work. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's doing the hard thing when no one will ever know you did it. It's telling yourself no when you're craving comfort. It's pushing forward when you're exhausted. It's silencing the voice in your head that says, take it easy, and replacing it with the one that says, get it done. That's mental toughness. It's not a feeling. It's a habit, and it becomes who you are when you practice it daily. Every time you choose the harder path, you're building toughness. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you're reinforcing your strength. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're proving to yourself that you can be trusted. And that self-trust is everything. When you trust yourself, when you know deep down that you will do what needs to be done, no matter what, you become unstoppable. You stop doubting yourself. You stop second-guessing. You stop needing external validation to keep going. You move because you've decided to move. And nothing can take that away from you. But it's not enough to just push yourself physically. You've got to train your mind the same way you train your body. You've got to create stress on purpose. You've got to embrace discomfort on purpose. Not because you're a masochist, but because you understand that stress, pressure, and resistance are what make you stronger. The same way lifting weights tears down your muscles so they can rebuild stronger, mental toughness comes from putting yourself in situations that challenge you, stretch you, and force you to grow. You want to build mental toughness? Start by doing things that make you uncomfortable. Take cold showers. Wake up earlier than you want to. Finish the last set when your body's screaming to stop. Sit in silence and deal with your own thoughts instead of distracting yourself. Tell the truth when it would be easier to lie. Discipline your mind to be the one in control, not your impulses, not your feelings, not your excuses. And over time, you'll realize something powerful. You can do hard things. You can suffer without quitting. You can be uncomfortable without losing your composure. And that's when you know you're becoming mentally tough. And it's not about being emotionless. It's not about pretending you don't feel anything. It's about controlling what you do with those emotions. Fear doesn't go away just because you're strong. Doubt doesn't disappear just because you're disciplined. But mentally tough people feel those things and move anyway. They act in spite of fear. They stay calm in spite of chaos. They keep moving in spite of pain. That's strength. Not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of action. Life will hit you hard. It will throw things at you that you didn't see coming. You'll get blindsided, hurt, betrayed, disappointed. And in those moments you have a choice. You can break down, or you can dig deep and find that unshakable core inside yourself that says, I will not quit. I will not break. That's mental toughness, and it's not a one-time decision. It's a decision you make every single day. It's who you become when you refuse to be a victim of your circumstances. And understand this, mental toughness isn't just about surviving. It's about thriving. It's about stepping into challenges with confidence, knowing you're built for this, knowing you've trained for this, knowing you can take more than most people because you've chosen to take more. And because of that you can lead. You can carry others when they can't carry themselves. You can be the one who stands tall when everyone else is falling apart. That's the role of the warrior, not just to survive but to lead. To be the rock, to be the example, but you can't give what you don't have. If you want to lead others, if you want to be the one people can count on, you have to build yourself first. You have to go through the fire first. You have to earn your strength. And that's the hard truth most people don't want to hear. But you're not most people. You wouldn't be here if you were. You're here because you know you're built for more. And you're willing to do what it takes to become the strongest version of yourself. So what does that look like? It looks like showing up on the days you feel broken. It looks like pushing through the pain when quitting would be easier. It looks like focusing your mind when everything around you is trying to distract you. It looks like telling yourself the truth, even when it hurts, and then acting on that truth. It looks like doing one more rep, running one more mile, getting up one more time after you've been knocked down. That's how you build mental toughness. That's how you become unbreakable. And the beautiful thing is, once you build it, it's yours. No one can take it from you. Not circumstances, not critics, not failure, because you've earned it. You've put in the work, and that work becomes a part of you. It becomes who you are. And when you live that way long enough, it doesn't just change how you see yourself, it changes how the world sees you. People recognize strength. They recognize leadership, and they follow it, not because you're loud, but because you're solid, because you're grounded, because you've got a calm strength that can't be shaken. And I'll tell you right now, the world needs more people like that. It needs more warriors who can stand in the fire and not flinch, who can lead by example, who can stay strong for the people around them. But it starts with you. It starts with the decision to stop waiting for life to get easier and start getting stronger instead. It starts with the choice to train your mind like you train your body, to sharpen it, to discipline it, to make it unshakable. You're not here to be average. You're not here to live a life of comfort and ease. You're here to rise, to fight, to win. And mental toughness is your armor. It's your edge. It's the thing that will carry you through the storms, through the battles, through the losses and the wins. So build it, every day, in every choice, in every action. And never forget, you are stronger than you think. You are tougher than you feel. and you are capable of far more than you've ever imagined. Keep pushing, keep fighting, and never ever back down. Chapter 7: Emotional Control. Mastering your inner storm. If you can master your emotions, you can master your life. Simple, direct, no way around it. A warrior doesn't allow his emotions to drive him into chaos. A warrior knows the storm will come. The question is never if, it's when, and when it does. You don't run, you don't hide. You stand in the center of it, calm, focused, unshaken, because you know how to control your emotions before they control you. You can't lead yourself if you're always at the mercy of how you feel. You can't lead others if you lose your composure every time things get heavy. And the people who are watching you, your family, your friends, your team, they need someone solid. Not perfect, not emotionless, solid. Someone who can feel it all, carry it, and still choose to move forward with clarity, with discipline, with control. That's what separates the men from the boys. That's what separates the warrior from the victim. Emotions are powerful, and if you don't learn how to deal with them, they'll run your life into the ground. Anger, fear, doubt, frustration, sadness, these are not enemies. They're signals, they're messengers. They show up to tell you something. And the warrior listens. But he doesn't bow, he doesn't obey. He acknowledges the emotion, understands it, and then decides his next move based on his values, not his feelings. When you feel anger rise, you don't let it drive the car. You keep your hands on the wheel. You stay in control. When fear knocks on the door, you don't let it paralyze you. You open the door, look it in the eye, and move anyway. When sadness weighs you down, you don't drown in it. You carry it like a stone in your pocket. Acknowledge it's there, and keep walking. That's the difference. You move. You stay in charge. You refuse to let emotions dictate your destiny. It's not about shutting your emotions off. That's impossible. And it's not healthy. You're not made of stone. You're human. You will feel everything on this path. And you should. But you have to learn how to process those emotions without losing yourself in them. You have to learn how to be aware of what's going on inside without being controlled by it. And that takes work. It takes daily practice. But once you build that muscle, it becomes your greatest strength. Think about it. When everyone else is panicking, when they're reacting out of fear or anger, you're calm, you're clear, you're thinking 3 moves ahead. You're not wasting energy fighting your own emotions. You're using that energy to make the right decision. That's power. That's control. And in this world, control is everything. Now let's be real. No one is born knowing how to control their emotions. It's a skill. It's earned. And it starts by becoming aware of what's happening inside you in the first place. Most people react without even knowing why they're reacting. They lash out in anger because they don't recognize the fear underneath it. They shut down emotionally because they don't want to deal with the pain that's sitting in the background. But a warrior pays attention. He watches his own mind. He's a student of himself. You've got to practice self-awareness like it's your life on the line. Because sometimes it is. You need to slow everything down in the moment. Feel it. Name it. Say to yourself, this is anger. This is fear. This is frustration. And then ask yourself, why is this here? What's the message? Get curious, not reactive. The moment you can name what you're feeling, you create space between you and the emotion. And in that space is power. In that space is the freedom to decide. Once you've identified the emotion, you have to regulate it. And this doesn't mean suppress it or ignore it. It means channel it. You can use anger to fuel discipline. You can use fear to sharpen your focus. You can use sadness to deepen your sense of purpose. But you control the flow. You direct the energy. You don't just let it explode in every direction. That's how you stay powerful in the middle of chaos. And you know what else? This gives you an edge over everyone else who hasn't done the work. Because most people live as slaves to their emotions. They react. They get triggered. They get manipulated by anyone who knows how to push their buttons. But you're unshakable. You can't be manipulated because you control yourself. You can't be thrown off because you know what's happening in your own head and heart. And you've trained yourself to stay steady. Emotional control gives you the ability to lead. And leadership isn't just about being in charge of other people. It's about leading yourself first. It's about being the one person in the room who stays calm when everyone else is losing it. That's how trust is built. That's how respect is earned. You don't get that by talking loud or demanding authority. You get it by being the example, by living it. And here's the thing, emotional control doesn't make life easier, it makes you stronger. You still feel the hits, you still go through the storms, but you don't break down. You don't give up. You carry the weight with strength and grace. And the people around you see that. They follow that. You inspire that. And that's why this work matters. Not just for you, but for everyone you lead. You've got to practice this every single day. It starts small. The way you handle frustration when you're stuck in traffic. The way you respond when someone disrespects you. The way you deal with stress when life gets busy. These are your reps. This is your training ground. And if you can master the small moments, you'll be ready when the big moments come. Because they will come. Life doesn't pull punches. And you've got to be ready to take the hit and keep moving. And you will. Because you're not doing this for show. You're not pretending to be strong. You're building real strength. From the inside out. And when you've done the work, no one can take that away from you. No one can break you. No one can shake you. You'll be the one who stands tall when everyone else is on their knees. So this is your call to arms. Train your emotions like you train your body. Build control like you build muscle. Do the work when it's boring, when it's hard, when no one's watching. And when the time comes to lead, to stand, to fight, you'll be ready, unshaken, unbreakable, unstoppable. This is the way of the warrior, and it's your time to walk it. Get to work. Chapter 8. The Stoic Warrior, Embracing What You Can Control. When life throws chaos in your face, when everything you counted on starts to fall apart, when plans crumble and people disappoint you, there is one thing that separates those who rise from those who fall. It's what you choose to focus on. The strongest warriors, the ones who never lose their way, live by a principle so powerful that once you lock it in, you become untouchable. And that principle is this: control what you can control, and let go of everything else. That's it. Simple, clear, direct. And if you master it, you will live your life on a level most people will never understand. A warrior doesn't waste energy. He doesn't burn himself out trying to fix things that are outside his control. He doesn't spend his nights worrying about how people see him, or stressing over things that already happened, or fearing what might happen next. He takes all of that energy and focuses it where it matters, on his own actions, his own thoughts, his own character, because he knows, with absolute certainty, that this is where his power is. That's the mindset of a Stoic warrior, unshaken by the things he cannot control, fully committed to mastering what he can. You see, the world is chaotic by nature. Life will always be unpredictable. People will let you down. You'll get blindsided by circumstances you never saw coming. And if your peace, your strength, your purpose depends on everything going your way, you are finished before you even start. You'll be ruled by fear, controlled by anxiety, pulled in 1,000 directions, always waiting for the world to give you permission to be at peace. But when you live by the Stoic mindset, when you take ownership of your thoughts, your choices, your reactions, no one can take that from you. You become immovable. You become your own force. And that starts by understanding the difference between what's in your control and what's not. It sounds obvious, but most people live their entire lives tangled up in the things they can't do anything about. They argue over opinions they can't change. They replay mistakes they can't undo. They obsess over outcomes they can't predict. And they wonder why they feel powerless, frustrated, and exhausted. But a warrior knows exactly where his energy belongs, not in what he can't control, in what he can. You can't control how someone treats you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control whether life throws you setbacks, but you can control how you face them. You can't control what tomorrow brings, but you can control the effort you put in today. That's where all your focus should be, on your effort, your attitude, your choices, because that's where your power is. And the more you practice focusing on what's in your control, the stronger you get, the clearer your mind becomes, the more peace you have. And it's not about ignoring reality. It's not about pretending bad things don't happen. They do. It's about accepting reality fully. It's about looking at life exactly as it is, without sugarcoating it, and deciding who you will be in the middle of it. A Stoic warrior doesn't fight the world. He works with it. He doesn't waste time wishing things were different. He uses what's in front of him. He adapts, he moves, and he keeps moving forward, no matter what. That kind of mental discipline, that kind of emotional control, doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. It happens every time you catch yourself worrying about things you can't change, and pull your focus back to what you can. It happens every time you stop blaming the world and start taking responsibility for your part in it. It happens every time you choose to act with courage and integrity, no matter how unfair or unpredictable life is. Because the truth is, life isn't fair. It's never been fair, and waiting for it to be fair is a waste of time. A Stoic warrior accepts that, and he decides to fight anyway. He decides to live by a code anyway. He decides to keep his word anyway. And because of that, he becomes unbreakable. Think about this. Imagine two people face the same storm. One spends all his energy wishing the storm wasn't happening, complaining about the rain, panicking about how long it will last. He's paralyzed. He's stuck. He's suffering. The other accepts the storm. He knows he can't stop it, but he can build shelter. He can find a way through. He can focus on what's in his control, and because of that, he survives. He thrives. That's the difference. It's not the storm. It's how you face it. And you will face storms. You'll face losses, betrayals, failures, things you never thought you'd survive. And when that happens, you have a choice. You can collapse, or you can rise. You can fall into fear, or you can stand in courage. You can waste your life trying to control things you can't, or you can become the kind of person who controls himself. And once you master that, nothing can touch you. Because the warrior mindset isn't about having a perfect life. It's about having perfect focus. It's about knowing what's yours to carry, and what's not. And when you get clear on that, you stop carrying things that don't belong to you. You put down the weight of other people's opinions. You put down the fear of things you can't predict. You put down the regret of things you can't change. And you pick up your power. And that power is in your discipline, in your decisions, in your response, in your ability to stay calm, to stay focused, to stay true to yourself, no matter what's going on around you. That's what makes you dangerous in the best way. That's what makes you a leader, people trust. Because you're not ruled by chaos, you're ruled by purpose. And that's what we're building here. A life ruled by purpose, not panic. A mind ruled by focus, not fear. A heart ruled by courage, not comfort. That's what the Stoic warrior lives for. That's what makes you unstoppable. Not because the world is easy, but because you are ready for it to be hard, and you move anyway. So take this into your life today. Get clear. What's in your control? What's not? Stop wasting time on things that aren't yours to fix. Stop giving your energy to things you can't change. Start taking full ownership of yourself, of your effort, of your focus, of your actions, and build from there. Because that's how you build something that lasts. And when life hits you, and it will, you'll be ready, calm, clear, focused, unshaken. That's the warrior way, and that's the way you were born to live. Now get out there and own it. Chapter 9. The Power of the Morning Ritual. If you win the morning, you win the day. That's a fact. The ones who take control of those first quiet hours are the ones who take control of everything else that follows. And it's not because they have more time, more talent, or more opportunities. It's because they make the decision every single morning to lead themselves before the world gets its hands on them. They own those early moments, and because they own their mornings, they own their life. Now listen carefully. The morning isn't just about getting up early, it's about what you do with it. It's about the first thing you feed your mind. The first choice you make when your feet hit the floor. Are you waking up and giving your power away to a screen? Are you reacting to notifications, scrolling through distractions, and letting other people's lives hijack your focus? Or are you stepping out of bed and stepping into your mission? Because warriors don't wake up to check their phones, they wake up to check themselves. When you build a powerful morning ritual, you create a system that sets you up for victory before the world even knows you're awake. You lay the foundation for discipline, focus and momentum that carries through the next 12, 16, 18 hours of your life. And I'm telling you right now, it's not optional. Not if you want to win. Not if you're serious about being someone that people can count on. Not if you're ready to stop living life like it's happening to you and start leading it like you were born to do. The morning is where you sharpen your edge. It's where you remind yourself who you are and what you're about before the noise starts creeping in. Because once that day gets going, it's game on. And if you're not grounded, if you're not ready, if you're not locked into your purpose, you'll lose yourself in the chaos. You'll react instead of act. You'll drift instead of drive. And you'll look back at the end of the day wondering where your time went, wondering why you're stuck in the same place, wondering why you feel like you're falling behind while everyone else is moving forward. But it's not a mystery. It's your morning, and you can take it back. Think about this: how you start anything shapes how you finish it. If you start your day rushed, distracted or lazy, you're telling your brain that's how the day's going to go. If you start with intention, with strength, with discipline, you're priming your mind and body to lead with power. That's why a morning ritual matters. Not because it sounds good, but because it works. And I don't care what time you wake up. This isn't about the number on the clock. It's about what you do when you open your eyes. I don't care if it's 4 a.m. or 7 a.m. What I care about is whether or not you own it, whether or not you use it, whether or not you build a habit of starting your day on your terms. Let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. If you leave your mornings to chance, you've already surrendered your day. If you think you can wing it and find focus later, you've already given up your most valuable hours. The early hours are where your mind is fresh. It's where you have the most clarity, the least distractions, and if you use that time to strengthen yourself, everything else gets easier. So what does that look like? It's different for everyone, but the principles are the same. You start by grounding yourself. You get clear on what matters. You focus your mind before the world throws its problems at you. And you move your body, because a strong body leads to a sharp mind. You can't sit around and expect to think clearly if your body is stagnant. Warriors move. They breathe deep. They stretch. They wake up their bodies because they understand their body is the vehicle for everything else they want to accomplish. And you feed your mind with something that strengthens you. Not news, not gossip, not scrolling, not negativity. You give your mind something that builds it up. Whether that's reading, meditation, journaling, prayer, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it fills your tank instead of drains it. And you lock in your priorities. You get clear on what needs to be done today. Not someday. Not next week. Today, you make a plan. You write it down. You visualize yourself executing it. And you walk into the day knowing you're not guessing. You're not reacting. You're leading. This is what warriors do. They create structure before chaos can take over. They live by a code before circumstances can shape them. They take full responsibility for their day, starting with the first hour. And because they do that, they win. Over and over. They win before the world even knows they're playing. And if you think this doesn't matter, if you think you're the exception, you are wrong. Look at every high performer in any field. Look at the ones who lead, who inspire, who build lives of strength and impact. They all have a system for how they start their day, and they protect it like their life depends on it, because it does. They don't negotiate it. They don't make excuses. They do it because they understand that success isn't about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day, especially when no one's watching. So here's what I want you to understand. Your morning is where you make the choice between being average and being exceptional. And you don't have to make it complicated. This isn't about creating a 2-hour routine that stresses you out more than it helps you. This is about creating a system that works for you. One that you can do consistently. One that reinforces your identity as a warrior, a leader, a person who owns his life. And it's going to feel hard at first. That's the point. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to make you stronger. Discipline isn't about doing what's comfortable. It's about doing what's necessary. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes who you are. Until one day, you wake up and it's not a struggle. It's automatic. It's part of your DNA. And when that happens, everything changes. You start seeing yourself differently. You start trusting yourself more. You stop feeling like you're at the mercy of life. And you start feeling like you're in control. And that feeling, that confidence, carries into everything else you do. Your work, your relationships, your health, your mindset. It all gets better because you've built a foundation that can't be shaken. That's why we do this. That's why the morning matters. It's not just about productivity. It's about power. It's about pride. It's about knowing that when you wake up and lead yourself first, you're becoming the kind of person who can lead in every other area of your life. So don't wait for the perfect time to start this. The perfect time is now. Don't wait to feel ready. You'll never feel ready. You just decide. You make the decision that from this day forward you're going to own your morning. You're going to lead yourself. You're going to build the discipline, and focus that separates the warriors from everyone else. And you do it one day at a time, one morning at a time, until it becomes your way of life. That's how warriors live. That's how warriors win. So get up, get after it, and own your morning, every single day. Because if you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win enough days, you win your life. Chapter 10. Focus like a laser. Mastering attention. Laser focus is the sharpest weapon you can carry in today's world. You can have talent. You can have strength. You can have vision. But if you can't focus, if you can't lock in on what matters and block out everything else, you will lose to someone who can. And it won't be because they're smarter or stronger. It'll be because they're dialed in when it counts. And if you want to develop a true warrior mindset, you need to understand that mastering your attention isn't optional anymore. It's survival. It's power. It's the foundation of every move you make. Without focus, everything you build eventually crumbles. We live in an age of constant noise. Distractions are everywhere. Notifications buzzing, messages flying in, endless scrolling, meaningless updates from people you don't even know. It's like the world is pulling at you every second, trying to break you down into fragments until you're too scattered to do anything real. And if you're not intentional about where your attention goes, you'll end up living somebody else's life. You'll spend your time reacting instead of creating. You'll be busy, but you won't be productive. You'll be exhausted, but you won't move forward. And that's the trap. That's how you lose. Not in a big dramatic collapse, but slowly, by being distracted one day at a time, until one day you wake up and realize you're nowhere near where you wanted to be. A warrior doesn't live like that. A warrior understands that his attention is his greatest resource, his most valuable currency, and he protects it with his life. He doesn't give it away cheaply. He doesn't let it get hijacked by things that don't matter. He keeps it sharp, disciplined, and focused on the mission. And because of that, he moves differently. He operates at a higher level. He gets more done in less time. And everything he does has purpose behind it. That's what happens when you train your focus. But focus isn't something you can fake. It's not a switch you flip when you feel like it. It's something you build. Every day, through discipline, through practice, through eliminating everything that doesn't matter so you can concentrate fully on what does. It's not about doing more things. It's about doing fewer things. Better. It's about going deep, not wide. It's about being fully present with what's in front of you, whether that's your training, your work, or your people. And when you can do that, when you can give your full energy to one thing at a time, your results multiply. Your power multiplies. But to get there, you have to make hard choices. You have to cut things out of your life. You have to say no to distractions that look tempting but offer nothing in return. You have to be ruthless with your time, with your energy, and with your focus, because no one else is going to protect it for you. The world doesn't care if you stay focused. It's designed to pull you in a million directions, and if you let it, you'll live your life in reaction mode, always busy, never productive. So you need to decide. Right now, are you going to lead your life with focus and purpose, or are you going to let the world decide where your attention goes? That decision is yours, and it's the difference between building something that lasts and wasting your potential. Focus is a discipline. It's something you train like a muscle. And the more you train it, the stronger it gets. You start by giving your full attention to one thing at a time. You eliminate multitasking. You shut out the noise. You create an environment where you can concentrate without distractions. And when you work, You don't scroll. You don't check your phone. You don't give in to the temptation of instant gratification. You stay locked in. And you finish what you start. And when you're with people, you're really with them. Fully present, not half listening while your mind is somewhere else. Not nodding along while you're thinking about the next thing you have to do. You're here, now, focused. Because focus isn't just about productivity, it's about respect. Respect for your time. Respect for the people you care about. Respect for your mission. And focus isn't just something you use during work hours, it's a way of life. It's how you train. It's how you rest. It's how you live. When you train, you give it everything. No distractions, no half effort. When you rest, you really rest. You put the phone away, you let your mind recharge. You give yourself space to breathe, to recover, to be fully present with yourself. That's how you stay sharp. That's how you keep your edge. And when you live like this long enough, focus becomes who you are. It stops being something you have to think about. It becomes automatic. You wake up, and you know exactly where your energy is going. You know exactly what matters. You don't get pulled into drama. You don't waste time on things that don't move you forward. You protect your attention like it's sacred, because it is. When you have focus, you become dangerous, because you can cut through the noise. You can see clearly what others miss. You can execute with precision. And in a world full of scattered energy and short attention spans, precision is power. It's what separates the warriors from the wanderers, the leaders from the followers, the committed from the casual. But it doesn't happen by accident. You have to fight for it. Every day. You have to fight for your focus, like it's your life on the line. Because it is. If you lose your focus, you lose your power. If you lose your power, you lose your ability to lead. And if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead anyone else. So how do you build that kind of focus? You start by taking inventory of your life. What's stealing your attention? What's pulling you away from your purpose? What needs to go? Be honest about it. Cut it out. Create boundaries. Create systems that protect your focus. Schedule your time. Prioritize your tasks. And when it's time to work, you work. When it's time to train, you train. When it's time to rest, you rest. Fully. Completely. With intention. And you build habits that reinforce your focus. You start your day with clarity. You review your mission. You remind yourself why you're doing this. You visualize success. You lock in your goals. And you move with purpose. Every single day. And when distractions show up, and they will, you deal with them. You acknowledge them. And you get back on track. Quickly. Without guilt. Without excuses. You refocus. That's what warriors do. They don't waste time beating themselves up. They correct. They redirect. They move forward. Focus isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. It's about being committed. It's about showing up, day after day, with clarity, discipline and intensity. And when you do that, everything changes. Your results change. Your life changes. Because you're no longer scattered. You're no longer distracted. You're no longer pulled in 100 directions. You're laser focused. And that's when the real progress happens. That's when you start building something unbreakable. So make the decision, right now. Take your focus back. Guard it. Train it. Live by it. And use it to create the life you were born to lead. Because when you master your focus, you master everything. And that's how warriors win. Every single time.